Summer of 1973, and I had just turned 15, and I was going to start high school in the fall for the first time. And I was finding this to be an awkward and a confusing time, because on one hand, I was wondering what my high school legacy was going to be. I was a good student, but I knew I wasn't going to be remembered as the class valedictorian. I was an okay athlete, so I knew I wasn't going to be a state champion in any sport. So I was wondering, what would my classmates remember me for years after we graduated from high school? But on the other hand, the main thing I was wondering about that summer was, why hadn't the guys noticed me yet? All my friends were dating. They didn't seem to be noticing me, so I decided that that was the summer that Marianne Diverter was going to get noticed. Why? I had no idea. I was 15. My hormones were raging. But I knew I needed the bathing suit that would get me noticed. And when my mom took me swimsuit shopping, I saw it. It was the skimpiest, brightest, neon pink string bikini I'd ever seen. And I'm still shocked that my mom let me get this suit. But you have to understand, back then I barely weighed 100 pounds wet. I was a toothpick. I was flat as a board. And I guess my mom thought, what harm is it going to do? Let's let Marianne find out on her own. Memorial weekend finally came. I was all excited, and I put that skimpy hot pink suit on, t-shirt over top, hopped on my bike, rode to the pool, found my friend group, took my t-shirt off, and all my friends went, "Whoa, that thing's bright." I looked down. It was much brighter in the sunlight than the store. It was actually glowing. And it didn't take long before the guys that were outside the pool fence that worked on their cars all day started yelling something. Now, they were much older than me, so I didn't pay attention to it. But one of my friends said, "Hey, Marianne, do you hear what they're yelling?" "Hey, Mary Berry! Nice suit, Mary Berry!" I thought, oh no, I think I might be Mary Berry. I looked over, and they were all waving to me. Now, I guess I got what I wanted because I got noticed that first day, but that's not the group of guys I wanted to be noticed by. I certainly didn't want Mary Berry to be my high school legacy. So I wanted to run home and tell my mom, but I knew she was waiting for me, and I didn't want to admit that I was wrong. So I thought, how long would they keep this up? How about all summer? By the end of summer, little kids were coming up to me, "Hey, Melly Bowie." It was ridiculous, and it did follow me into high school. Everybody seemed to know who I was, but no one called me Marianne. So then next summer, I got a one-piece black tank suit. I wasn't going to be noticed by guys anymore. Started high school, junior year, and the end of the first marking period in my world cultures class, I was really close to an A, and my teacher in that class was really creative with extra credit points. And we were studying cultures one day that practiced yoga. And he said if anybody could do a yoga pose in the center of his desk, he would give that person 50 extra credit points. Well, this was my way to an easy A. But there was just one little teeny tiny problem. I didn't know yoga back then. But if you were here for my story last month, I told a story where I'm really flexible. Well, I'm double jointed too. See how my arms bend out? My legs do the same thing. So I thought, yoga, you bend in a weird position. I can probably bend in a weird position that will count as yoga. Now, here's where I should have paused and said, "Marianne, are you sure you want to do this? Remember last year? And that was just a bathing suit." But I don't think before I do things. So I raised my hyperextended arm, and I walked up to my teacher's desk. And it was a good thing I was wearing pants that day, because I climbed up in his desk, sat in the middle, and pretend my arms are my legs. I wrapped my right leg around my head like this. And then I took my left leg and wrapped it around my head like this. And there I sat in the middle of my teacher's desk with both my legs behind my head. Yes, I knew I made a big mistake really quick, because every single teenage boy in my class was looking back at me going, "Whoa!" I got my high school legacy that day without a doubt. Last year was my 50th class reunion, and we played a trivia game. Who was the class valedictorian? Hardly anyone remembered that. Who was the state champ in the 400 run? Hardly anyone remembered that. But when they asked, who sat in the middle of Mr. D's desk with her legs behind her head, Everyone knew that one. Mary Berry.